Hello dear, it's Heather and you are watching Save Today with Heather J. I am somebody who has spent her entire adult life living paycheck to paycheck and being one life event away from financial crisis. That is because of a couple of different things. I have lived a very low income existence for most of my adult life. And I am not very good at creating and sticking to a budget. I find budgeting to be very difficult for a couple of different reasons. Again, because I've been so low income for so long, there hasn't been much to play with, and that's very discouraging. And I find budgeting to be not fun and exciting, most likely because there hasn't been much to play with. You know, if I was creating a budget and had money that I could see myself having $10,000 in savings, or being able to plan a vacation, or being able to buy, you know, the bright shiny thing that I wanted to buy, I might find budgeting a little more exciting. But that has not been the case. And some of you who have been lifelong budgeters might be saying, well, you'll get that $10,000 if you actually stick to a budget. So that is what I'm trying to do now, is I am trying to get out of the paycheck to paycheck rut. I'm trying to get out of the low income. I'm trying to plan some savings. I'd like to get out from under my debt. I think I just said that 3 times. Clearly, I want to get out from under it. And I have some large ticket items I'd like to purchase and own and be able to use for some of my future endeavors and some of the hobbies and things I want to do. And I'm not going to get there without making a plan and sticking to it. So I've created this, I began to budget, and in order to hold myself accountable, I've created this channel to share that with you. And in order to keep myself engaged, I've decided to add a craft at the back end of that. The crafting, the hobbying, all of those things I find very joyful. And if I bring something joyful into something negative, it's not negative. Budgeting's not negative, but it's discouraging. So if I bring something joyful to kind of counterbalance that discouragement for me, I believe I'm more inclined to stick with it. And additionally, I am wanting at some point to create a side business / I'd love to be working independently for myself with something related to this crafts. And so my sharing it here is what could potentially be the beginning stages for something bigger long term. I'm nowhere near that now, and I may never ever get there, but that is where my thought processes currently lie. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're somebody who has been low income, if you're somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck, if you're trying to get ahead and figure out, if you're interested in the crafting portion, any of those things, I do invite you to subscribe and join me along the way, and let's see where this goes. I don't expect that this is something that's going to fix itself in 1 or 2 months. If that were the case, it would have fixed itself every time I tried for 1 or 2 months in the past. So I do see this being a very long-term situation for myself and for this channel as we grow and change and carry on and get better at where we're at. So that all being said, today's video is going to be my June paycheck number 2 setup. For me, June is a 3 paycheck month. I am a hourly employee who gets paid bi-weekly, and my rent is due on the 1st of the month. So those factors all combine to set up when my paychecks lie and which month they are. I have had to go through and find out when the 1st of the month is for each month, what paycheck that falls within, and then that's how it starts. So for me, June, the month of June started May 19th because the 1st of the month fell within that, at the very end of that paycheck. My rent is due on the 1st, and paycheck number 2 for me started June 2nd and carries through till June, oh, I need to check my dates better, June 15th. Oh, I wrote it down. So paycheck number 2 for me goes from June 2nd to June 15th. I paid rent, obviously, with paycheck number 1. So I am kind of stumbling over what I'm going to say today, so I'm just going to get right into this, and apologize for my clumsiness here. Again, I did say I am an hourly employee. I have estimated in my budget 38 hours a week for that 2-week pay period. I can get anywhere from 32 to 40 hours a week and still be considered a full-time employee. I have most consistently been pushing closer to 40 than under, but I budget 38 hours because 40 is not a guarantee. And it very rarely, but it can get lower down to like 36, 37 hours. And I take away from my estimate 25% for my taxes. So I get paid $20 an hour at 38 hours a week times 2 weeks, take away 25%. That leaves me with an estimated wage income of $1,140. I do include an other line, but I don't expect any other. I don't get child support. I don't work a second job. I don't have any investments or annuities that would have me expecting to regularly get extra money. But there are occasionally times that can come up, most specifically tax time, that I might put extra money in there. I might potentially get birthday money or Christmas money that I might choose to put into my income instead of having be, free money to just play with. So that line is there just in case, but I don't expect to get anything this pay period for that. So my total income is going to be the $1,140. And the next thing I like to cover here is my fixed expenses. And my fixed expenses are bills, things I have to pay whether I like it or not. I have no choice in what the rate is going to be. And if I don't pay it, I'm going to get fines or late fees or something attached to my credit. That is what goes here. I don't get to say I can't afford that much money for rent, or I'm not going to pay you that much for kilowatt hours of the power, right? That's something somebody else sets, and I just have to pay it. So those are my fixed expenses. For this pay period, I do have the last payment on my last credit card, which is $26.64. That is now paid off, but I don't have that credit card anymore. I did get myself into a bad situation where I wasn't able to kind of keep up, and so that account got closed and I had to pay off the card. This was the last payment of that $26.64. I will be in the next month or two, maybe in July or August, doing a prepaid secured credit card where I start to rebuild my credit again and rebuild those credit purchases. But I'm not going to go do that like, woo, it's closed, let's go do that day after tomorrow. No, that's something I will have to do to help improve my credit score, but it's not in the current budget. I have other things that take priority at this point. And then the next thing I have here for my fixed expenses is my utilities. Again, I'm new to this area. I've never been in this state, and as such, I've never been a customer of this particular utility company, and they wanted a $350 deposit from me. I didn't have that deposit available to pay all at once, just based on all of the other things I have coming out at this time. And so the utilities get billed to my landlord, and then the landlord sends me the bill, and then I pay a $20 service fee for that. And then there's also $1.75 to get the money order that I get from the post office. And so all of that has been worked into this $233.35. So I have that $20 service fee, the $1.75 money order fee, and the utilities. And so that's $233.35 for this month. Whoop. And then the next thing I go over, so that my total fixed expenses for this particular pay period is only $259.99. I don't have any other bills that are due to come out during this time period. The next thing I look at in these budgets is my flexible spending. And my flexible spending is things I have a little more control over. I can choose which grocery store I go to, whether that's a super discount or organic top dollar in my groceries. I can choose to take the bus or drive my car for transportation. I can choose, you know, dining out. So that's what so with my flexible spending, it's groceries, dining out, transportation, art, and miscellaneous. All of those things are things that I, in theory, have control over. I say in theory because I don't always stop and think before I make those purchases. I have a tendency at this point to make the purchases and look back and go, oh, was that really the wisest decision? So again, we're still learning to get ahead here. We've got a lot of lifetime behaviors to change, and that's why I'm doing this and sharing with you. So for groceries, I have estimated in my budget $110 a week for $220 for this pay period. Last month was the first month, the month of May, and I had only estimated $90 a week, and that was not quite enough for my grocery budget, so I did up that just by an extra $20 a week, and we'll see how that goes in June, and that will inform my estimates for July. But for right now, that's where I'm at. $220 for 2-week period for groceries. My dining out, I have estimated $25 a week, so $50 this pay period. Again, last month I underestimated how much that would be. I only gave myself $15, which was not enough. That's one meal a week. If I only get the cheapest fast food thing, at the prices things are right now, that's not realistic. So we'll see. I've just given myself an extra $10 a week. We'll see if that ends up being realistic or not. And then in transportation, I have estimated that I will need to fill up my gas tank once every 10 days in this 3 paycheck month. And so that would be 4 times within the month. And when I was laying out those every 10 days, that looked like there would be 2 fill-ups within this particular pay period, one early on and one towards the end, for a total of, I estimated $3.79 a gallon at 10 gallons, so 37. That was what it was the last time I really paid attention to how much gas was. And then I do take the bus to work on days when the weather is good at $1 each route, so $1 each day. So that's where I came up with that $80 estimate. And then for my art, last month I did not have a separate category for art. I just lumped it all in miscellaneous, and I found that I was making a lot of purchases that were very specific to the art and the project I was working on that month, and there were less that were what I would consider truly miscellaneous. And art is something that's too important to me to keep out. Again, it's my happy place. It's where I relieve a lot of stress. It's where I'm wanting to go to be self-employed. It's what I've gone to school for degrees. So this is important. It's not just some, you know, fly-by-night process for me. And as such, it needed to be treated with the respect that it deserves. And so I've just given myself $10 a week for that at $20 a paycheck. There will be some months where that is enough and some where that is not. And as we move forward, I will have to pay attention to that. And maybe instead of having something super consistent week by week, month after month, I may have where that amount ebbs and flows based on the project that's behind us, learning process, all of these things. And then the last thing is my miscellaneous category. Again, I've given myself $10 a week for a total of $20 a month. Nope, $20 this pay period. And last month, I did not purchase a lot of things that I felt truly fell underneath the miscellaneous category. So I didn't feel like I needed to give myself a super large amount for that. For me, miscellaneous is just those random one-off kind of things where I have to make a special trip for that to the special location. Like if it's something I can get at Walmart when I'm buying the rest of my groceries, that's just going to fall underneath my grocery budget. But if I'm making a special trip out to get it, that's a miscellaneous for me. Or if it's something I only need, you know, one time, that's the miscellaneous. So we'll see if $20 for the pay period ends up being enough for me or not. But all of that added up means that for this pay period, my flexible spending is estimated to be $390. So we'll see how that carries out as we get through the rest of this paycheck and what we have when we come check in at the end of this pay period. So then what I'm going to do now is just kind of go over my ending balance where I see what I'm getting and what I'm spending and what that looks like it's going to leave me with. Again, so my total income is estimated to be $1,140. My total fixed expenses is estimated to be $259.99. Potentially there's something that could sneak in there that I didn't have written down and was not aware of and didn't plan for, so that could change. But otherwise, the utilities is based on a bill I have already received. So that's not going to change. I'm not estimating what may be coming. I'm paying back what I already received. So I don't expect that to change. My flexible spending is where there's probably going to be potential for change. I apologize. I have really bad allergies and this time of year has been rough on me. So my flexible spending is estimated to be $390. And so if I take $1,140 and I subtract $259.99 and I subtract $390 even, what I am left with is the potential to have $490.01 left and available to me at the end of this pay period. And again, we'll see how that goes. I would love for these numbers to be less in spending so that I would have more available at the end of the month or at the end of the pay period, because I am trying to get my furniture delivered to me from out of state this month, and the more I can have available, the more likely that will be. Otherwise, I don't know when or how I'm going to get my bed and my pots and pans and something to sit on. So that is where I am at for June paycheck number 2's estimate and setup. And that is it for the budgeting portion of this video. And for those of you who are only here for that and you're done, I thank you for stopping by and have a great week. I will see you in a couple of days. For those of you who are here for the crafting, thank you for staying with me. If you may recall from the last video I did, which was my paycheck number 1 closeout, I was able to finish the pillow I was working on for my granddaughter this month, and now I'm in the process of starting this blanket for using up what is left. I did go and get some pool noodles, and those are so that I can wrap this really stretchy fleece material around them so that it's a little bit more controllable. And then I am going to have some spray adhesive that I spray here, and I lay my 2 layers together, and then I can stitch that. So I'll be able to lay the one on top of the other and then do some spray and do that, and then sew around those edges. That is where we are at right now. That should be a fairly straightforward process, and then this would be done sooner rather than later. But this project has taught me all along the way that I can't count on easy. I can't count on fast. So we'll see how it goes as I move forward. I'm going to need to take this outside on the cement to spray my spray adhesive. I could potentially spray it inside, but the spray adhesive does have overspray. And if I had, because I have carpet everywhere, including in my kitchen, who does that, I don't have a way to clean that sticky spray adhesive off very well. So I'm going to take that outside and I'll be laying it on the sidewalk, and that will mean that some sidewalk dirt ends up on here, and that's unfortunate, but that is the way it's going to be. This is something that once it's all stitched and done can be thrown in the washing machine, so it's not really a problem for that. And then once those layers are glued together, I'm going to sew the binding on the edges, and then I will decide at that time whether I'm going to add some more stitching within. fleece tends to be very stretchy and not stay in place. And the more seam lines I have in here, the more likely it is to gape and pool over around those stitches. So we'll see how that goes. It might just be sewn around the edges, and there may be some other stuff in there. Potentially this could be done on my next video, and potentially this could be giving me fits for the next 5 videos. So we will see where I'm at next time I see you. If this does get done before my June budget is complete, I will pull something else out, and I will decide at that time if that's going to end at the end of June, or if that is something I will carry into July. But for now, that is where I'm at in my budgeting and in this craft. And I thank you for sticking along with me till the very end. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, please have fun. Thank you. Bye-bye now.